Hey everybody, today I'm going to be taking you guys along with me on a little backpacking trip. This is just a short trail I do all the time to test out gear. As you can tell, it's really snowy right now. So, got my snowshoes on. The snow isn't too bad right now, but as I get up to my campsite, I expect it to be pretty deep. I was up here last weekend and it snowed quite a bit since then, so we'll see what it looks like when I get there. Hey, so hopefully the camera quality is pretty good. I am currently in the tent, super warm. It's pouring snow and it's super cold, so I think I'm just gonna hang out in the tent for the night. Still really early. It's only like 3 o'clock, but around here it gets dark at 5 or so. Probably in the canyon it'll get dark a little bit earlier. I wasn't able to shoot a lot of video today of me setting the tent up and everything like that because I left the house and had a full charge on the GoPro, but for some reason when I started recording it only had 3%, so I seem to have a lot of issues with my GoPro batteries. That's kind of a frustration I have with them, but I'll shoot a bunch of video in the morning of my tent and everything, but this is the setup I'm working with right now. As you can see, I'm in my Sierra Designs Nitro 20 quilt. It's been keeping me super warm already. I have my REI sleeping pad, my REI Helix sleeping pad, and yeah, I'm super comfortable in here. This is my first night in this tent, so we'll see how it does, but the setup was really easy. I didn't really seem to have any issues, and yeah, it's been a good trip so far, so we'll see how the night progresses. I expect it to get a little bit colder, but it's going to stop snowing in the middle of the night, so it'll be nice to wake up to a bunch of fresh powder, but be able to get out and pack up while remaining relatively dry. You can see all the snow that's building up on the tent. I keep knocking it off about every 30 minutes, so check this out. I'm sure you can hear the snow now. Now that I knocked all the layer of snow off, you can kind of hear how much snow's falling. But yeah, like I said, great trip so far. So I guess while I'm here, we'll talk about a couple things. Obviously, the first thing is, like I said, this is a brand new tent to me, the Prea Outdoors Bryce one-person tent. I just picked it up specifically for more backpacking trips like this in the winter. As some of you may have seen, I tried to use my trekking pole tent out here and it wasn't really ideal for this situation. So I wanted to make sure I had a freestanding tent as opposed to a trekking pole tent for snowy situations. And also it's always nice to have a variety of tents to choose from when you're taking a trip. So I guess the second big thing is I'm finally testing out my Sierra Designs Nitro 20 quilt. And I can really tell that it's super warm so far, so that's really nice. It's also really large. You can see how much it goes above my head. And also, I'll put it on in a second, but it has this cool head pocket where I've never seen anything like it. You can put your head in here and wear it kind of like a face mask. And then also these pretty cool hand pockets. It is a top quilt, so it doesn't go all the way around me. And I actually kind of dig that, so that's super cool. What else? Also, this is my first trip on my REI Helix insulated sleeping pad. I believe it has an R value of 4, so not super warm, but also not a summer pad. It's not an ultra insulated pad like some of the Thermarest pads, but I kind of like that it's right in between. It's not super heavy, it's pretty light, and I think it's just right for this kind of temperature. It'll probably get into the high 20s, low 30s tonight, so nothing too crazy as far as the temperature goes. I think this setup I have right now will be perfect for these conditions, and I'm really excited to see how they perform. On the hike in, I just had my merino wool base layer and the Ventus from Outdoor Vitals on. I didn't really want to mess with my rain jacket, so I just decided to wear my Ventus in, and it's water resistant, but not completely waterproof. It's a little bit damp, but it did pretty well considering the scenario I'm in right now. Hey guys, just got out of the tent to take a little bathroom break. So I'm out here. It's about to get dark pretty soon. And you can see how much snow has fallen since the last time I was out here because the sides of my tent are covered in snow. So it'll be interesting. It's supposed to stop snowing here in a couple hours. So it'll be interesting to see how much snow accumulates by the morning. So hopefully you guys can see me right now. It is getting colder outside just a little bit. Finally stopped snowing. Seems like there's a light sleet outside, nothing crazy. Snow's been melting and falling off the tent. So I have my thermometer hanging right here. I had it in my quilt for a while and it's super warm in here. Inside the quilt it got up to just above 80 degrees, so it's pretty close to like 85 degrees or so after sitting for a while. So yeah, it's super warm in here. I'm nice and toasty. I've really been enjoying this quilt. The sleeping pad's working really good. I don't have any complaints about the tent or anything, so everything's working just the way I was hoping it would. As it gets darker, I'll probably lay down for a while. I might try to look up at the stars later. I just had a pretty cool idea. I can lay in here and unzip the top zipper here because there's a double zipper, and unzip the top zipper and unzip this mesh and kind of just lay down here the way I am and look straight up at the stars for a while. So depending on what the visibility is like. Unfortunately, because it's been snowing, I got a feeling that I won't be able to see much, but you never know. So I'll check back in with you guys in the morning. So I already had one GoPro battery die. When I woke up, I had 70%. And as soon as I started recording, it went to 3% and died. GoPro batteries are the worst. I love my GoPro, but the batteries are terrible. I know that batteries generally do worse in the cold, but GoPro batteries just don't do good at all. So anyways, it's 7:15 in the morning and it's pretty cold. By my thermometer here, inside the tent, it's 30 degrees. I don't know how well you can see that. Let's see. About 30 degrees. So pretty chilly in here. Like I said, this top quilt and my sleeping pad and everything performed super well, so I stayed warm all night. Only slight issue I had was my sleeping pad started to deflate just a little bit, and I think it's because the air got colder. So realistically, if I would have got up and used my pump sack and thrown like another little bit in there, I probably would have been fine, but I decided it was good enough. So that wasn't really an issue, but you know, when I laid on my side, I could kind of feel the ground a little bit. So obviously there is a ton of moisture in the tent right now. The issue that I think I had was from knocking all the snow off yesterday, and just the amount that it snowed, wasn't really getting quite the ventilation that I wanted to. I do have this little ventilation door open, and I had it open all night. However, all of this bottom sides of the tent where the rain fly should have a gap between the ground, there's no gap there because all the snow kind of covered up those. So I'm dealing with this right now. The sides of the rain fly are kind of pushing in because they're being weighed down by snow. There's the inner mesh is doing its job by catching all the moisture, but the problem is there's just so much moisture. There's just so much moisture that it is very wet in here. My quilt's not wet or anything like that, but obviously as I start to pack up, things are going to get wet. So it is what it is. What I'll do is I'll pack everything up. I'll take this home, and then I'll set the tent up in the living room and put a fan on it and just let everything dry out. So yeah, that's kind of how my morning is so far. It feels super cold. My hands feel really cold, and unfortunately Everything else, like my gloves, my rain pants, my Ventus hoodie, everything is wet. So it's going to be a pretty cold hike out this morning, but not a huge deal because it's a pretty short hike. And that's why I do these. That's why I test out this gear on these short trips, just so I know what to expect in the future when doing longer trips. Another issue I had yesterday, I don't know if I mentioned it, is one of my snowshoes broke. It was the first trip with them, so clearly those snowshoes are no good. I'll be taking those back. It's going to be kind of shitty hiking out with one snowshoe, so I think I'll still keep one snowshoe on just in case I need to pack the trail down. When I got up to go to the bathroom last night, I noticed that a lot of my snowshoe tracks had already been filled in because of the amount of snow we're getting. So I think I'll need the extra help with whether it's one snowshoe or two. So that'll be interesting on the hike out. And let's see what else. It seems like there's a little bit of sleet falling down right now. It's not really supposed to snow this morning, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I don't get too wet. I'll probably throw my rain jacket on over my puffy jacket and then my rain pants, so I won't really have to worry too much about getting soaked, but I would like to be able to pack up the least amount of snow falling possible. Unfortunately, like I said, I'll have to do it without the gloves because my gloves are soaked, so my hands are definitely going to be pretty cold as I pack up. But that's okay. It is what it is. I'll just have to take my time. And I'm definitely going to be hauling a super wet pack, so I know as soon as I throw my pack on, I'll have my rain jacket on, but it's definitely going to get my back wet, so yay. That is the name of the game when you're out here, so kind of exactly what I expected, but you know. And also, I think that if I was able to guy out, it definitely would have been a little bit nicer. You can see where the tent is touching is exactly where the guy out points are. Kind of right here. There's a guy out point right there. So if I was able to guy this tent out correctly, I think I would have less of a moisture issue as well. So that's another learning point from this trip. That's about it. I think I'm gonna get up. The sun should be coming up any minute now, and I'm gonna get up, go to the bathroom, and just start packing everything up. Hopefully I'll be able to shoot some video for you guys. I know my batteries are dying super fast, but I'll see what I can get. All packed up and ready to go. Hope you guys can see me. My camera is soaked, so you can see my situation. One snowshoe and one of just the crampons because the other one's broke. Having to hold that thing, and I just came down through here, and honestly the most frustrating part is just all of the low-lying trees because of the snow. They're all flocked with snow, so they're in the trail. You're trying to knock them out of the way, and then they're grabbing my pack, trying to pull me backwards. So it's kind of had to bust through deep snow, really deep snow. Like in some areas where I just had my crampon on, it sunk down to knee deep, and of course my snowshoe was staying above the snow. But yeah, so one leg going in the snow, one leg above the snow, and I was kind of having to bust through those trees. So that was that was an event there. It's beautiful though. That's kind of what it looks like out here right now. So yeah, this is pretty much the final leg. This is the easy stretch of the trail, so I'll be getting in a warm, toasty car here in about 5 minutes. And as you can probably tell from road noise, that is it for this trip. I had to go chase down my trekking poles on part of the trail where all those low-lying trees were because they snagged them right off my pack. So that was fun. But other than that, it's been a really fun trip.